The Dominic Carter Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
And thank the Lord that the World Cup is over. The World Cup is done. Finito. Done. The Meadowlands, right? President Trump handing out the medals to the world champion Spain team, the president with the FIFA president there. And it was a nice ceremony, but it's all said and done. Couldn't happen a minute too sooner. Dominic Carter here with you. Boy, do we have a lot to talk about over the course of the next 2 hours. 800-848-9222. So now it's up to 3. A third person has died from New York City Legionnaire's disease, the outbreak, and all the issues that are going on locally. Mamdani going to Rikers to watch the World Cup with the inmates. I could go on, A to Z, all the issues that are going on, right? And what does Mamdani do? Remember his nutty campaign promise that when Netanyahu stepped foot in New York City, he planned on having Netanyahu, the prime minister of Israel, arrested? This guy has now had the city legal department look into this to see whether or not he can follow through with his campaign promise of having Netanyahu arrested. So the city's legal department is looking into to determine if the mayor of New York has the authority to order the NYPD to arrest Netanyahu. Now, Mamdani, citing an outstanding international criminal court warrant against Netanyahu for alleged war crimes in Gaza, there's only one big problem with that. The U.S. does not acknowledge the International Criminal Court. Okay? So, in other words, Mamdani wants to cherry pick which organization has the legal authority. And the last time I checked, he's not the president of the United States. He is a mayor of New York City. Garbage, health, sanitation, crime, that's your issue, Mamdani, not international affairs. So I also watched a Fox News interview today with one of these socialist nuts. Here's the bottom line. They have to go. They have to be squashed. Think about this for a second. This guy sitting up there, muck of the New York Socialist Organization, and I don't mean the stereotype, but he's standing there with his straight hair and his ponytail. He's playing to every stereotype that you might imagine, and he has no idea what he's talking about. And it was exposed in the Fox News interview. But think about this. These socialists, they come here from other countries. They were nobodies in their own countries, outsiders that were never taken seriously. They and their families wanted better opportunity. So they find a way here to America to do nothing but complain, and we're stuck dealing with these nuts. Cannot make this stuff up. Also, a bit later, what would you do in this situation? Don't tell me what's right. I want to know what you would do. You come home and your 13-year-old daughter is in the house, and under her bed is a 20-year-old man. What would you do? What would you do? How would you handle it? This actually happened in Tennessee. And now the mother is charged with first-degree murder. She shot and killed the 20-year-old man that was under her daughter's bed. What would you do in that situation? We'll get to it a bit later. 800-848-9222. Let's start with the latest as it relates to the war. At least 17 American soldiers have been killed in this conflict. 2 killed in Jordan just Friday with a drone strike. There's word of a third death. And this from Fox News.
Straight night of attacks against Iran. U.S. CENTCOM says it's to swiftly punish the Revolutionary Guard for killing 2 service members in missile and drone strikes in Jordan Friday. Another U.S. soldier remains missing. These mark the first American military deaths since March. 4 others were evacuated to hospitals but have since been released. The escalation in U.S. action is in response to continued Iranian attacks on ships in the Strait of Hormuz. Iran has been striking back by targeting Jordan, Iraq, and Arab Gulf states. Tehran also now claims it's suspending last month's ceasefire agreement with Washington. In a statement, Iran's supreme leader mocked President Trump's signature as, quote, worthless. I'm Chinley Painter. Life, Liberty, and Levin starts now.
And so, 2 killed Friday with a drone strike in Jordan. Word of a 3rd American casualty, at least 17 so far. This situation with Iran. 800-848-9222. Mamdani sits down with the New York Times for one of their podcasts. And when the UN, you know when they're in town because nobody can get around in Manhattan. The East Side is in gridlock. You know what time it is, folks. So when that time happens in September, with all the issues that we have, all the problems that we have, rape is up, certain areas are up. And what does Mamdani do? He has the Law Department looking at whether or not he can lock up Netanyahu. So Netanyahu did a telephone interview with my colleague Sid Rosenberg, and Netanyahu basically said that he was not concerned. In that interview, it said he accused Mayor Mamdani of supporting Hamas. No, really? Not Mamdani. Of course, the Palestinian militant group that controls a significant portion of Gaza. And of course, Hamas was responsible for the deadly attack in Israel on October 7th, 2023. Right? And that basically kicked off Israel's war in Gaza. So Mamdani has the legal department looking at this. And legal experts, of course, have said, yoo-hoo, Mr. Mayor, you don't have the authority to do this. And on top of that, the United States, here's a little detail that might be considerable to Mamdani, but I guess not. The United States is not a party to the International Criminal Court. You can't make this up. And does not recognize its authority. So Mamdani will welcome Saudi Arabia or any other country as long as it's not Israel. I want you to listen to this full exchange. New York Times, Mamdani, in which, and again, the authority that he's citing is not recognized by the United States of America. But why should that matter in Mamdani's world? He just wants to punish Israel. So he wants Netanyahu arrested, and here is what Mamdani told the New York Times.
Last question on this topic. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is perhaps planning to visit New York for the UN General Assembly. You pledged during your campaign and after you won to order his arrest to comply with the International Criminal Court warrant. What will happen if he comes in September?
Look, I believe that Prime Minister Netanyahu belongs in The Hague. He's a war criminal who has been charged by the International Criminal Court. And what you will find is that is an opinion that is held by many purely because of what his actions have wrought over these last many years. I've also said that I will follow the laws that we have here in New York City, because I believe that there's an importance in following the law as a leader who presides over our city, and that's something that I plan to do.
Meaning? I'm sorry, I don't understand what that means.
Meaning that whatever the law allows me to do in New York City, that's what we will do, but we won't be writing our own laws to that end.
What does the law allow you to do?
That's an active conversation with our legal department in seeing what the prospects are we have here in our municipality. However, what we've seen at the national level is a desire sometimes to write your own laws, to go outside of the bounds of legality. That's not something we have an interest in.
I mean, normally when people come to a UN General Assembly, they're granted a sort of amnesty because it is the seat of the United Nations. Is that what you're thinking that you'll honor, or you're actively looking to see if you can actually arrest him?
I think we are looking at all of our legal obligations, and one of them is with regards to the United Nations. But the other part of this is we're not talking about a personal assessment of Benjamin Netanyahu. We're talking about the International Criminal Court and the fact that they have a warrant out for this prime minister's arrest. And I think it's important to talk about the weight that has as a charge, and also that as the mayor of New York City, I'll be following the laws of New York City.
Okay.
And so Mamdani is pulling your leg because, again, the United States is not a party to the International Criminal Court and does not recognize its authority. 800-848-9222. And what are Democrats saying about this? For example, Congressman Ro Khanna, his take on answering that question.
Almost out of time, but I want to get very quickly, Mamdani in New York, the mayor there, threatening to arrest Netanyahu when he comes to the UN General Assembly. Do you want to see that happen?
He could come to the UN Assembly. The ICC and ICJ have a legal process. That case will go forward. My bigger concern is, how do we get out of this war? How do we stop giving them the aid that we have been giving them? How do we stop giving them military weapons to kill civilians? Yes, make sure civilians are protected. And how do we actually get peace and justice there and get America out of these wars? But, I'm not for creating a spectacle. The UN is a place that people can come to.
Okay.
So we will get to your telephone calls on this Sunday night in just a moment. We see them, 800-848-9222. Looking at my Twitter at my X, I didn't see all of the comments because there are a lot. But Catherine Trunk says Netanyahu and Mayor Mamdani, what goes around comes around. Maybe Mamdani should be arrested. Where did all his political funding come from? Sympathizes with allies of terrorists. That is indeed true. I'm going to look at some of the other comments. So I'm going to get to that situation in Tennessee again. What would you do? What would you do? For those of us, it's easy to answer, but for those of us that actually have daughters, what would you do? You come home, this happened in Tennessee, your daughter's 13 years old, and you've warned her about her behavior, and mommy finds a 20-year-old man under her bed. I don't know what happened, but mommy had threatened before that if she ever found a man in the house that she would shoot him, and that is exactly what mommy did. And mommy is now in jail, charged with first-degree murder in Tennessee. What would you do? It's easy to answer until you actually have a daughter and you're in that situation. But I'm watching Fox News. I've had it with these socialist nuts. Let's call it for what it is. They're losers. They're nuts with their ideology. They come from other countries. They were losers in their other country. They come here seeking better opportunity, and then they want to mess everything up here for everybody else when they were losers in their countries and nobody would listen to them in their countries. But they want to bring their nonsense here, right? So I'm watching Fox News. And this guy, he's the Democrat Socialist of America co-chair, Gustavo Gordillo, right? And he's appearing on Fox News. And he's complaining, right? I want you to listen to 3 short sound bites here. He's complaining that landlords have been making 12% on their investment, I guess, annually. But what if your bills are costing you 20%? Because you're making 20% on your investment, it doesn't mean that you're necessarily making money. But again, these nuts, he's sitting up there with his straight hair pulled back in a ponytail. You knew these kids in school, right? You knew they were different. Let's call it for what it is. Let's not sugarcoat this. They were always different, nuts. And he comes here and he wants to change the laws here. Listen to this guy right now discussing landlords in New York City.
The problem we're facing in our housing system is that we talk about tenants and we say they have to pull themselves up by their bootstraps. They have to be responsible financially. But when we look at the landlords, we don't use those same standards. landlords in New York have been making a 12% return on their investment on average.
How much should they make? What's fair for the landlord to make if you don't like 12?
They're complaining that 12 is not enough. And we don't think that anyone should have a constitutional right to double-digit returns on their investment. That's why we've implemented...
No one should have a right to a double-digit return on their investment.
No one has a right. That's not... No,
what are you talking
no
about?
One's in that. That's not in the Constitution. But what we see is that when we implement a rent freeze, we have landlords who are crying that the government is going to put them out of business.
They're trying to run a business, and they're trying to do it effectively. No, are all landlords perfect? Are some landlords lousy? Of course they are. But I just think that the idea that no one should make a double-digit profit is the antithesis of the desire to, you can be anything you want to be in New York. I actually,
excuse me, nut job, socialists. You don't know the first thing about running a business. Did you come up with the capital for that business? Most landlords struggle. They're not these millionaires that own 2,500 units. They struggle. Mom and pop real estate owners that struggled, rob Peter to pay Paul. They do it every month to make it work. And you're whining. So, in other words, for an average landlord, and these figures are low, very low. Let's say a small unit. You're looking at a $150,000 to a $200,000 cash upfront investment. There's no guarantee that you're going to make a dime. There's no guarantee that you're going to even get your money back. You may lose money. Many have. Many have lost their shirts. And this guy is complaining because he doesn't know the first thing. He's a loser. He's always been a loser. Always going to be one. Okay? 800-848-9222. Listen to this nut socialist on grocery stores.
Inspiration's great, but if you're the bodega owner, how would you feel if the government opened a big grocery store right next to your bodega?
If one publicly owned grocery store that brings prices down in the neighborhood is enough to put someone out of business, then maybe they shouldn't have been in that business in the first place.
Interesting.
So, the bodega that's been there 30 years, holding it down for the community, they don't have a right to complain that taxpayer dollars are going to be used to run them out of business. This man does not know what he's talking about. But the Fox News interviewer, she got him good, right? Noting things are so bad here. So why did your family come from Peru to be here in America?
Your family came here from Peru, really in the middle of the heat of the Shining Path. They were Maoist, communist guerrillas in Peru. So why did your family come to America?
The economic situation in South America and in Peru was in a really bad place. But I think that much of what we could say is responsible for that actually was the imposition of capitalism, and American imperialism in many cases is actually what brings immigrants to the U.S. coming out of Latin America. And
so they come here because they don't like the imposition of American imperialism in the country that they're in?
Yes, in many countries.
So they come here.
In many countries, there have been undemocratic coups that have destabilized countries, and that's pushed people out.
Oh, well, you would think they would want to go somewhere that wasn't imposing that on them if that were the case. But, it's interesting.
So, in other words, cold busted. So everything is America's fault. But you phony, your family wants to come here to America. Why don't you and your ponytail and your straight hair go back to your country? How about that? Dominic Carter here with you, 800-84. The nerve. You want to come here and infiltrate the Democrat Party with your nut ideas. 800-848-9222. We see all your telephone calls. I'm going to get to Tennessee. Things are so bad these days with the Democrat Party. Even Bill Maher says that he may vote Republican in the upcoming presidential election, and congratulations go out to the vice president and his wife. They've had a child that was delivered, a baby boy, I believe. Congratulations to our vice president. 800-848-9222. Let's see here. Let's start with Larry, line 1, Staten Island. Good evening, Larry. What's on your mind?
Good morning, Dominic. I want to comment about the situation, the visit of Mr. Mamdani to Rikers Island, sitting, breaking bread, watching a soccer game with a bunch of felons. There is no way. No. Wait.
No. We have to be factual. They're not felons. They're accused felons. Accused. In a handful of cases, they're waiting to go upstate. They've been convicted. But they haven't, for the most part, they haven't been convicted of anything. But go ahead, Larry.
All right, whatever. But there was no way that he could sit with a bunch of NYPD police officers and be invited by the PBA to sit down with them and watch this game. It's so hypocritical, Dominic. How can you sit like you're telling the public? I'm sitting with people from Rikers Island who are arrested and charged for crimes and are waiting trial or whatever, and it's just this guy is way out of it, man. Way out of it.
He's telling you what his priorities are. He's telling you, I'm sitting with my people. He's telling people like you and I, Larry, that he doesn't give a darn about us. Those are his people. Plain and simple.
And Dominic, he wants to arrest Benjamin Netanyahu when he comes to the New York City. Well, doesn't this idiot know that the man has diplomatic immunity and is a diplomat, and you got to have hands off with the diplomatic people? This guy just doesn't understand what is going on here, Dominic. This guy is just political fodder, and that's all he's about.
I'll do you one better, Larry. I've been covering politics a long time. I think I've heard mayors threaten, but I've never heard mayors threaten so directly that they're going to have someone arrested. A mayor technically should not be able to have someone arrested. It is the police commissioner. Now and thank you for the call, Larry. We all know how it works. City Hall makes the quiet call to 1PP. They turn up the heat on 1PP. That's why I've been trying to tell you folks, when you ask where the horses and the dogs, the police department doesn't make those calls these days. Those calls are made from City Hall. If City Hall doesn't want horses on location, if they don't want police dogs on location, if they don't want to see the riot team on location, if they don't want the guys with the riot helmets and the things where they tap it's very intimidating. They tap the nightstick that they have up against the shield. If City Hall doesn't want the public to see that, believe me, you are not going to see that. And so I see something that's just moved with the New York Times. So much has been made about President Trump flying on that new aircraft. And apparently the president has announced that there are going to be new and improved defense mechanisms on this new Air Force One. That is per the New York Times, moving as we're on the air right now. We are going to take a break, and we are coming right back.
The Dominic Carter Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Inquiring minds want to know on this Sunday night. Matt Blaze has on his black T-shirt, it says, Batman, you don't have a daughter, Matt Blaze, but what would you do? The situation in Tennessee, mommy comes home, the 13-year-old daughter. Apparently the man says he was invited in. The man, 20 years old. That is still statutory rape. We don't know what happened. Mommy comes home. The man is under the bed. Mommy pulls out a gun and shoots him. She's now charged, and you'll hear the story in just a minute. She's now charged with first-degree murder. What would you do, Matt Blaze?
Man, first of all, a 20-year-old messing with a 13-year-old, you don't know if she lied about her age. Sometimes they look older. Nevertheless, you're going
Why
into
would he hide under the bed?
Exactly. That's what I was about to say. You're going into a parent's home. You know it's their home. You're hiding under the bed. Right there, you should not. If you're an upstanding young man, you would not be doing that in somebody else's house, in your supposed, let's say, called girlfriend's house, when you're not invited and you had to sneak in. Now you're hiding under the bed. Now, with the situation, do I think she should have shot the guy? I don't know about that. But I could understand her being upset. But shooting someone, unless they were breaking into the house or attacking or something like that, you just find somebody hiding under the bed. And now, if you're going to claim that you don't know how they got there or who they were, is there more to this story that we don't know of that could lead to her being justified? But you just can't shoot someone given the reasons that we know. That's just my opinion. Kick him out, maybe do something else, but shoot and kill someone? That's serious. What do you think,
I hear
Tom?
you. I
mean, you have a daughter.
Listen. Yeah, that's why I'm looking at you the way I'm looking at you, because it's a tough call. It really is a tough call, especially, let's be honest. Let's be honest, Matt Blaze. These girls these days are just as bad as the boys, if not faster. And you know, mommy has talked to her till she's blue in the face. You're not allowed to have sex in my house. You're not allowed to have sex. You're not allowed to have sex. You're not allowed to have sex. Yes, mommy. Yes, mommy. The moment mommy leaves to go to work, here comes daughter with the short skirt, doing things that she's not supposed to do, possibly. Mm-hmm. Let's listen to one of the television reports from Tennessee.
This is a case of what would you do? A mother came home and found a man hiding under her young teenage daughter's bed. So she shot and killed him. And now she's charged with first-degree murder. Good evening, everyone. I'm Darcy Thomas.
And I'm Louis Bold. And Fox 13 is not naming the mother in this case because that could identify her daughter. Now, we have learned she had just arrived home from work on Travis Road in the Walker Homes community when police say she shot the man.
Fox 13's Troy Grant joins us live at a nearby police precinct. Troy, some people that you had a chance to talk with today say they believe that the mother was justified.
They did, and neighbors also said there were other younger children in the house at the time, some even as young as just 2 years old. Now, in that affidavit, the mother said she did what she had to do as a mom.
As your parent, you're protecting. And when a situation comes up like that, you just react.
And that's exactly what a mother told police she did when they responded to her house in the Walker Homes community early Thursday morning. Police say they found Rodarius Morton laying near the woman's front porch dead with a gunshot wound. Now that mom is charged with first-degree murder, even though parents Fox 13 spoke with said they'd probably have done the same thing.
If someone came into your home and they weren't supposed to be there and they was running out and the law has been changed, when you shoot, you don't know where the bullet gonna hit.
With support for this mother spreading across social media, Fox 13 wanted to learn more about your rights to protect your kids and why the mother was charged. Legal expert Andre Warden said there's more to the story beyond a parent reacting, though it is possible the first-degree murder charge may not stick.
Now, here's the thing. If the mother alleges, hey, look, I was in a heat of passion, you've heard that phrase, then it may not be a first-degree murder case, but they have charged it as such.
There are a few factors laid out in the affidavit. First, the daughter allowed Morton in her house through the back door. When the mother came home, she knocked on her daughter's door asking, "Who's in my house?" The daughter also told police her mother has repeatedly threatened to shoot any boy she found in her home. Warden told me all of that would lead to the legal argument over whether this killing was premeditated and should be classified as first-degree murder.
Again, not quite the same fact pattern that I gave you before in terms of days before or weeks or months, years, where she says, look, if a guy's ever in here, I'm going to kill him. That really gives you a strong indication potentially of an argument, at least strong argument for first degree murder. But the closer in time, the more difficult that charge becomes.
Now that mother is still in jail tonight. We do not know who is caring for her kids at this time.
So what's horrible about this entire thing, mommy's going to need easy, $150,000 liquid. How many working moms to go to trial? How many working moms? She's going to need a lot more than that to make bail. How many working moms can afford $150,000 liquid just for your attorney fees? That's number one. Let's say she lucks out, Matt Blaze, and she gets somebody to do it pro bono. That's not going to happen. But let's say she gets someone to do it just for the media, because a case like this is going to be worth a lot of money to a lawyer, because you're going to be in the headlines, you're going to be in the papers every day.
Right.
But it's already premeditated, because your 13-year-old daughter, who doesn't know any better, said, mommy threatened to shoot. That's premeditation right there. Okay. Now, mommy was saying it for the right reasons, to keep her fast daughter from doing things that she shouldn't be doing,
Right.
But it's just a mess. And the other kids are probably going to go to ACS, whatever it's called in Tennessee. And that system is a mess. I don't know, Matt Blaze. I don't know. I don't think she should have shot the guy. But it's easy for me and you to say that, you're getting up, going to work every day, and this fast daughter of yours doing these things. I mean,
right. Like we said, it's you take the emotion of you have a daughter, you don't want boys messing with your 13-year-old daughter. Then you look at the actual facts of the case. The daughter let the guy in the house. It doesn't. Do we take that he's an adult man into consideration? But he was let into the house. Now, he was found dead on the porch, which means he was running out of the house when she shot him. So they're going to say, hey, did he pose a threat? He's running away. If you shot him in the back while he's running away, you're going to go to jail for murder. He was running away.
He's going to jail in all likelihood. Horrible situation. Back to your telephone calls. Line 2, Sherman in Manhattan. Good evening, Sherman. What's on your mind?
Here's the deal. I'm going to reserve an outcome judgment until I see a picture. This is a great show. This show is good for your health because it's always about the truth. I want to see a picture of the young lady. Yeah, she might be 13 physically in terms of when she was born, but she might look 16 or 17. We don't know. I've seen some huge country girls, okay? So Let's keep it real here. Meaning, I'm not going to just, oh, my God, it's a guy. He has a penis. He's guilty. I'm not going to go that route. I want to see a picture of the young lady. When I see a picture of the young lady in question, the 13-year-old, then I can come to somewhat more of a conclusion. She might look 17 years old, right? I've grown up, too, around some when I was a kid. There were some girls, they looked 3, 4, 5 years older than they were. There were some girls who had some psychological issues with no father in the house. You just got the overbearing mother. As soon as they step out that door, they take that breath in, and the next exhale is they want every attention from every guy they can get. We must be open-minded and be realistic. The mother sounds like a violent person threatening to shoot anybody in the house. Sorry. Me, I'll shoot somebody who's breaking in my house, trying to harm myself, steal from my house, or hurt my daughter. I'm not going to shoot some dude because he's attracted to my daughter. Now, if he's under the bed, I'd probably have a gun pointed at him and say, come from under the bed, have a seat right here. I'll take his picture, and let's have a talk for a little while, buddy. I'll search him, make sure he has no gun on him himself, right? And then we'll have a little talk, because sometimes women lie. Now, how old is my daughter? I'll ask him and tell her to shut up and don't say a word. Let him speak for herself. Now, he might say, she told me she's 17. She told me she's 16. You see? So the more deeper you go into the truth, the more interesting it gets. We can't just assume because it's a guy, it's all his fault. Because some women, some girls are liars. And some of them want some attention at any cost. So we have to be realistic about the whole situation. And Liz was right. Everybody needs therapy, especially people that are going to have children, because a lot of people shouldn't have children, especially some woman who's always threatening to shoot somebody. Okay? And the next thing is what I was going to say when I told the caller, the World Cup, the soccer thing, this is another way to take over. You got all these guys in the street, and most of them are talking in Spanish, and some of them are talking in German or this and that. It's annoying. They need to put that a little more in check. It's like, sorry, this is not a soccer country. I find it bizarre any sport that draws to a tie. Okay, so all these people that are so obsessed with soccer, this is just another way of putting a finger in our face. You go to another country and be over there obsessed about the Super Bowl and see how quick you get machetes and shot over there.
Well, Sherman, as usual, you called it for what it is. Thank you for the great call. Thank you, Sherman. He's right. Try going to another country talking about the Jets won the Super Bowl. First of all, the Jets are never going to win the Super Bowl again. Or maybe they will in 53 years like the Knicks. But try doing that in Mexico and see how well that goes over, like a lead balloon. Tom, New Jersey, line 1. Tom, good evening. What's on your mind?
Good evening, Dominic. All right, this could go one of two ways. I'll make it very simple.
What could go one of two ways?
With this guy hiding under the bed. You see, first of all, pulling the trigger and taking a life because of that, that's out. There's not a lot of people with smarts and common sense. What she should have done.
Wait, Tom, do you have a daughter? Tom, do you have a daughter?
No, I don't.
Okay, that's why you're saying what you're saying. That's why you're saying, because you have no idea what you're talking about. But go ahead.
No. And the second thing, the common sense smart thing, what the woman should have done was held the guy there until the parents and the cops got there, and then
wait a minute. Tom. Are you in La La Land? This is a single mother in all likelihood. You think she's going to be able to hold this guy and wait for you're making an assumption that he has parents. How do you know he has parents?
Well, all right, so there's no parents. You hold him there until the cops get there. That's common sense. You don't pull the trigger and take the life.
I can understand that. I mean, Matt Blaze, do you understand Tom's point?
What?
I'm asking Matt Blaze thank you for the call, Tom, if he understands your point.
No.
No. Why not?
Look, it's like you said, he doesn't, he says, common sense, but if you don't have a daughter, like I said, I don't have a daughter, I can't put myself in those same shoes. I can try to say, I can understand it, but then like I said, you got to look at the facts and how Sherman put it. Look, maybe she lied. And I even said the same thing. Sherman, there are girls that are 13 years old that look like they're 18 years old. And she could have told the guy that she's 18.
Right.
And then that's why I said, well, if he's an upstanding young man, you shouldn't go into the house in the first place. But maybe he thought that the girl was 18. The mother wasn't home.
But let's be honest. 9.5 out of 10 guys are going to go into the house. But if you have nothing to hide, why are you under the bed? If you have nothing to hide.
Right.
Hey, Tom, thank you for that call. Thank you, Matt Blaze. Let's go to Susan and Corning. Good morning. Good evening, Susan. What's on your mind?
Morning, evening, whatever. Well, so when I was listening to the news report about this, I picked up that there were younger children in the house as well. Did you hear that?
Yes.
Okay. So the mother left younger children in the house with her 13-year-old daughter, who was obviously a minor.
Susan, that happens a lot in single mother households where they got to find a way to make a way out of no way.
Oh, okay.
And the 13-year-old is a teenager. But anyway, go ahead.
No, but the 13-year-old, okay, so that is an unfortunate situation. So that couldn't, the mother, I think she overreacted because
Susan, do you have a daughter, Susan? Do you have a daughter?
My daughter, much older. That's nothing that ever happened in my household.
No, I understand, but wait, Susan, I didn't get a clear answer. Do you have a daughter?
Yeah, but
okay. So can you understand what this mother was going through?
Well, yes, but not that I would shoot, because I would think that you got to have like a some kind of a questioning and answering of the two of them together. You don't just murder someone because
No, I got it, Susan.
But
Susan, what if this is the 5th time that mommy's caught some guy in the house?
Well, we don't know that. It was the same guy.
No, we don't. But I'm saying to you, for her to go to this extreme, for her to threaten prior that she would shoot a male, something has gone on in that house.
But then you have to have some kind of supervision for your children if you're going to work.
Okay, but you're not listening to me, Susan. I got to take a break. You'd be amazed to find out the amount of households where the teenager has to watch the younger children because mommy has to go to work. But on that note, it is time for a break, and we are coming right back.
The Dominic Carter Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
And we are back. Dominic Carter here with you. Let's go to line 1, Teddy and Yonkers. Teddy, what's on your mind?
Oh, Dominic, how are you, sir? Dominic, like I said, I've left the Democratic Party. That's gone. But I'm still critical when I see it, and it's justified. Okay, Vance, I hope he doesn't get the nomination. Michael Goodwin wrote a great article in today's Post. I know you read it. Okay, Vance is like a Democrat. He acts like a Democrat. That's point number 1. Point number 2, and I'll make it quick, Dom, because you got a great program, and a lot of people are calling. Point number 2, let Trump. We don't want to hear anymore. They want to make a deal. They want to make a deal. They want to make a deal. Okay? People are tired of that. It's enough, Dom. Let them go in and finish the job. Knock out every infrastructure unit or building or...
Okay, hey, Teddy, that sounds wonderful, my friend. And then what happens if it starts a world war?
Well, Dominic, what do we do then? He said Iran will not get a nuclear weapon. Iran will not get a nuclear weapon. He keeps on saying that. Dom, you can't have your cake and eat it too. And I respect you a lot. But you can't answer me with that type of question by saying, what about a world war? Where is the world war? Russia's going to get involved?
Teddy, I think when one is a master, the way that President Trump is, one has to consider all alternatives. Everything has to be on the table at all times. You can't just say, I'm going to give the masses what they want and go in and drop a bomb on the whole country. That's just not realistic. So I still say, I know you don't like this, Teddy, but I still say that I'm waiting to see how this all plays out, and I'm giving President Trump the benefit of the doubt. That's just the way that I see it. I'll give you the final word, Teddy. Go ahead.
Okay, when you say I'll give him all the time, does that mean all the time? No,
that's not what I said. That's not, Teddy, I was very clear. My exact words were, I will give President Trump the benefit of the doubt. I didn't say a word about time. Because when it comes to time, I don't understand what the Great Rush is. Well, I mean, we don't want to see American soldiers lose their life. You know, what happened Friday. We know what happened Friday in Jordan. And that's rather sad and tragic. But President Trump has to have the big picture in front of him at all times. At all times.
All right, General. I know General Keane wants to go in there and finish it off.
But for every general that you could point out, Teddy, that says what you want them to say, I could give you another general that argues just the opposite. You know that, Teddy. You're a smart man.
I know.
Hey, thank you for the call,
too,
Teddy.
But it seems like it's a tug of war then, with pulling
it is a tug of war with a bunch of nuts. The president's dealing with a bunch of nuts. Teddy, thank you for the great call. Let's go to Richmond, Virginia. Let's say good evening to Mary. Mary, what's on your mind?
My mind is a poor mother that is working to raise her children, to take care of her children.
You're talking about Tennessee? About Tennessee?
In Tennessee. And what would happen if that 13-year-old girl got pregnant? Who would have to take care of the child, and who would have to take care of the girl? The mother would. So she's probably just so frustrated. What, Mary?
Hey, Mary, maybe you can help me with this. I've been sitting here trying to figure this out, and of course I have a daughter. Why is it that us men, that we're much more concerned with the daughters? It seems like we always have a watchful eye on the little girl. Why is that?
Because the daughters will give you the gray hairs.
Tell me about it, Mary. Tell me about it all. And now my daughter, Dad, did you have to say that? That means that the people know you're talking about me. You're saying bad things about me, Dad. Oh, that's what it sounds like, Mary.
You can see it sometimes when you go to the store and you see this a little girl, 2 or 3 years old. She runs the mother and the father. I'm talking from experience.
Say it again. You preaching right now, Mary. You serving as the pastor. You helping me because Lord knows I'm sorry, Mary. I'm sorry. Oh, I'm going to be in trouble for this. I'd rather deal with my son than my daughter any day, every day. Oh,
have a wonderful night.
Thank you. For my daughter, I'll be sitting down eating, and women, I don't even have to tell you what she'll say to me. But Matt Blaze, she'll just be like, Dad, I'm menstruating, and start laughing while I'm eating, just to see the look on my face. Right?
Yikes.
And if you're a father, you better hope that she's menstruating, because if she's not, then you got another grandchild coming, you know?
Oh, my God. Yeah,
so
I can't even imagine.
That's my world. That's my world.
I always knew if I ever had kids and if I had a daughter, I knew I would lose my mind. I would be like every other father. It's like, you're not leaving the house until you're 29.
Oh, and they have so much mouth, and oh my God.
I can just imagine, Daddy, can I have
you get
Daddy,
that, and that costs you
Daddy.
Thousands of dollars. But I better shut up. Because this is a no-win battle for me. Let's go to Dominic, line 3 in North Carolina. Dominic, what's on your mind?
Yeah, Dominic, these people who are calling in saying it's okay for the mom to shoot the 20-year-old, I wonder if they are okay with honor killings, too, because that's essentially the same thing. So I think when you substitute emotion and things like honor and so forth, you don't have America anymore. You got almost what we're fighting against. You can't have people killing 20-year-olds willy-nilly like that. That's crazy.
Right. Well, perhaps that's why Mom is charged with murder one, Dominic. Thank you.
And I hope she gets convicted because she's guilty.
Not murder one. I don't think she should get murder one.
Now you're gonna say it's manslaughter. She's gonna say that she was temporarily taken with emotion. But if she said, and they can prove that she said that if she found a guy in there, she was going to kill him.
It's a wrap.
That makes it very difficult for her. Well, it makes it more difficult for her to get off. I would imagine this is going to get pleaded down, is what I would think.
Yes.
As well as I do. The prosecutor's charged her with first-degree murder, and is ultimately he's hitting her with everything, and he's going to take a plea. That's what's going to end up happening.
But I just feel for the lady. You know, she's probably struggling to keep her job. Struggling to keep her job.
You don't know that. This mom may be nuts for all you know.
Nah, I don't think so. I don't think so. I see a situation. I've seen the pictures. I've seen the pictures, and she seems like a struggling black woman that was trying to keep everything afloat for her family. And now it's all downhill. And they're going to use the statement of her daughter to try and nail her on murder one. We're going to have much more on this and other news coming up. We see all your telephone calls coming up. We're going to take a break. Hour number 1 is done. We're coming right back.
The Dominic Carter Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. Now, from New York City to the world, it's Dominic Carter.
And we have a lot to get to this hour. Dominic Carter here with you. The number to reach me, we see your phone calls already, 800-848-9222. The situation with Iran. Friday, 2 American soldiers killed in Jordan with a drone attack. Another American killed over the weekend. This from Fox News.
The search is on for a U.S. service member missing in action in Jordan, where 2 others were killed yesterday, defending against Iranian missile and drone attacks. Lucas Tomlinson is in Tel Aviv. He is live with the latest for us. Lucas.
And John, the State Department has just issued a brand new worldwide caution urging Americans to think twice about any travel to the Middle East. It was released just about 40 minutes ago on the travel.gov website. Due to heightened tensions in the Middle East, the security environment remains complex with the potential for unseen escalation. And that's exactly what we saw in neighboring Jordan, John, last night when Iran fired multiple intermediate-range ballistic missiles that made it through U.S. air defense systems, hit a base in Jordan with dozens of U.S. Air Force personnel at the base, F-16s, F-15s, F-35 stealth fighter jets. We know from U.S. Military Central Command that there are at least 2 U.S. service members killed in action. 1 remains missing, as you mentioned. Also, 4 others were wounded.
And so Americans being urged with caution to travel to the Middle East. And I've told this story before. And I recall out of the 4 trips that I've made to Israel, the one where I had the most solidarity with the people of Israel was at the time the bombing, and I believe it was bus number 18. And it was the second time, I believe, that the bus had been hit by a terrorist bomber. And the incoming mayor of New York City, Rudy Giuliani, decided to go, and I was assigned to travel with him. And I'll never forget, I had never seen 16-year-old female soldiers at bus stops with semi-automatic rifles. And at every bus stop in Israel, there was a young soldier, because they go in earlier in their military, and military service is mandatory, which is a good thing in Israel. And, you know, to go to get on the bus and a young lady in a uniform is looking at me and she's got a semi-automatic weapon. And, you know, people make a big thing about racial profiling in America. Let me tell you something, folks. When you're worried about a suicide bomber, okay, I can only speak for myself. I was looking at everybody on that bus like they had a bomb that could blow up. Old ladies, young people. And think about that. The people of Israel and a pizza shop had also been hit. And we went to the pizza shop, and then we went to 1 or 2 of the hospitals. And there were so many patients with limbs missing that they were in the hallway, literally in the hallway of the hospitals of Israel that we visited. And it was just horrible. And you talk about horrible. King Mamdani, America, the mayor of New York City. Every September, the United Nations has their General Assembly here in New York, and world leaders, whether they're liked, whether they're not liked, they come to New York for the gatherings at the United Nations. Mamdani ran on a pledge that should Prime Minister Netanyahu step foot in New York City while he was mayor, that Netanyahu would be arrested on the spot. It's posturing, but the fact that this guy is still talking about this is reckless and dangerous. Now the prime minister says he's not worried about it. The prime minister sat down. Well, he did a telephone interview the other day with my New York colleague Sid Rosenberg, and said he's not worried about Mamdani. That Mamdani's siding with Hamas, and it sure does look that way. But Mamdani, sitting down with the New York Times, has the law department of New York City. Now imagine how much money that costs, right? Looking at whether or not he can order Netanyahu to be arrested.
I believe that Prime Minister Netanyahu belongs in The Hague. He's a war criminal who has been charged by the International Criminal Court. And what you will find is that is an opinion that is held by many purely because of what his actions have wrought over these last many years. I've also said that I will follow the laws that we have here in New York City, because I believe that there's an importance in following the law as a leader who presides over our city, and that's something that I plan to do.
Meaning? I'm sorry, I don't understand what that means.
Meaning that whatever the law allows me to do in New York City, that's what we will do, but we won't be writing our own laws to that end.
So, Mamdani, you know what the laws of New York City allow you to do. And thank you to that New York Times reporter. She was trying to get him to hang himself. He wouldn't take the bait, to put it out in his own words. Mamdani knows that the United States is not a party to the International Criminal Court and does not recognize its authority. But because they're saying what you want to hear, that's what you're going with. And it's reprehensible what you're doing, Mamdani. It's reckless, and you're going to get somebody killed. Because one of these nuts that's listening to you make that appeal might take it upon themselves to settle the problem. It's reckless what the mayor of New York City is doing. We see your calls, 800-848-9222. The situation in Tennessee. Those of you listening to us right now in Tennessee, you probably know what's happened in your state in terms of a mom has been charged with first-degree murder. Mom came home, and apparently the 13-year-old daughter had a 20-year-old man in the house. The 20-year-old man was under the bed. We all know what that implies. That implies that they had just had sex or was about to when Mom came home. This is from one of the TV stations in Tennessee.
This shooting took place here at around 1:40 a.m. and it happened at this home right across from me on Travis Road. Now, this all happened after a mother found a man in her house. She says he was hiding under a child's bed. When police arrived, they found the man dead near the front porch. Now, the woman, 36-year-old Kendra Scott, now faces multiple charges, including first-degree murder and employment of a firearm during the commission of a dangerous felony. The man who was shot has now been identified as Redarius Morton. According to police, Morton was invited by a child to the home and came in through the back door at 1 a.m. The arrest affidavit says when Kendra Scott came home, she was heard banging on the front door and yelling, "Who's at my house?" Once the child opened the door, Morton was found hiding under the child's bed. As Morton was leaving the house, both Scott and Morton went out to the front porch, and that's when the juvenile says she heard a gunshot. Morton was found shot in the back of the head. Now, I spoke with one neighbor who says he feels bad for everyone involved.
For the child, since her mama going to jail, the boy family, since he was walking away, and I guess I feel bad for the mama. She should have thought more.
So perhaps Mom should have thought more. She's 36 years old. Let's go to your telephone calls, 800-848-9222. I'll get Matt Blaze on this at the bottom of the hour. Let's go to Elizabeth in Sparta, New Jersey, line 2. Good morning, Elizabeth.
Good morning, Dominic. You're wonderful. Listen, this 13-year-old
thank you
caused the problem as well. She should be held responsible too. She contributed to it. I don't care whether she's retarded or something else. Did the man break into the house, or did the child let this man in at 1:30 a.m. in the morning? It's so bizarre. It's crazy, and I believe the mother is at fault. But it's so complicated and whatever. I don't think she should be put to death or anything, but I think she should be held for murder, and I think the 13-year-old should not get off scot-free either. She should be also held. Because,
okay, what should happen to a 13-year-old that's a minor?
Well, she shouldn't be considered a minor at that point. If she's having sex with a man, she shouldn't be considered a minor.
Do you know, Elizabeth, and I know you know,
if she agreed to
but
it,
Elizabeth, you have good girls all across America that are underage that are having sex with men that are over the age of 18. And it's statutory rape, but it hasn't stopped what's going on.
It's a bloody mess, but the 13-year-old shouldn't get it off scot-free either. She should also be held. I don't care what age.
Right. I just don't know what you do to a 13-year-old because their lives are going to be ruined forever. The kids, if they're not going to go to a family member, they're going to be wards of the state of Tennessee. And Mom is done, no matter how you look at this. Her job is gone. She's still in custody. She's probably not going to make bail. and she's got a mountain of problems ahead of her. Let's go to Simon, line 3 in Brooklyn. Simon, what's on your mind?
Yeah, Dominic, about the arrest with Benjamin Netanyahu, Prime Minister of Israel. I think it's a bogus charge. We all know it's like that doesn't even make sense when a country's trying to protect themselves from all these radicals and killers and suicide bombers going on for many, many years before October 7th. Like you said, you went with Giuliani. The world forgets what happened 9/11 when we lost close to 4,000 Americans, and everyone. It's like amazing. Like this, the only country which is a salvage country, which is in the Middle East, which is an incredible country which accepts Muslims, Christians, Catholics, and they love everybody in that country. And this mayor doesn't have his facts correct, and I can understand him because he comes from that. And that's why he's looking at it a whole different kind of his whole aspect against our city and against the Jewish people in our city is so it's frightening what happened.
It's disgusting. Simon, thank you for the great call. Let's go to Joe, Trenton, New Jersey, line 4. What's on your mind, Joe?
Yeah, Dominic, as far as Netanyahu wanted to arrest Netanyahu, I think that Donald Trump should be on the phone with him prior to anything, any kind of incident happening, and lay down the law.
Now, President Trump doesn't have to lay down the law. Let me tell you how this is going to go, Joe. Mamdani, and when he's done posturing, he's going to save face by saying the Law Department has informed him that he can't have him arrested. The president, I don't think Mamdani has the cojones to try and upstage Trump and arrest Netanyahu. It would be a declaration of war between the White House and the mayor of New York City.
Yep. All right, Dom, can I make a quick comment on that?
As long as it's quick, I got to toss to a break.
Okay, she was charged with first-degree murder, which is premeditated. That makes it sound to me like she might have caught this kid in that room another time or several times.
Possible, but the daughter has already admitted that allegedly that mom said if she catches a boy in the house, she's going to shoot him. So that's premeditation.
Have you ever said to your kid, "I'll kill you"? You do that, I'll kill you. I can't tell you.
No, not I'll kill you. Not I'll kill you. I'll shoot the boy. That's premeditation. It's a big problem for mom. I'm late for a break, Joe. Thank you for the call. Time for a break. We are coming right back.
The Dominic Carter Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. Now, from New York City to the world, it's Dominic Carter.
You know, it's interesting, folks. Pennsylvania Senator John Fetterman has been talking a lot lately about possibly flipping parties. Ooh, wouldn't that be something? Let's continue with your telephone calls, and we'll get to that in just a moment. Let's go to line 1, Lou, Long Island. Good morning, Lou. What's on your mind?
Oh, yes, the shooting of the boyfriend. He was leaving the house, and she shot him in the back of the head. I mean, he was no longer a threat. She is toast.
Lou, I hate
I can imagine,
but you are correct.
I don't disagree with the emotions that the mother must have had, but, you know.
I agree with you, Lou. Let's say he slugged the mother before he left. She's still done because, as Matt Blaze said, and we'll talk to him in just a minute or so, a few minutes, he apparently was leaving, and for his body to be found on the lawn and he's shot in the back of the head, if you're a prosecutor, that's an open and shut case.
Yep, certainly sounds that way.
Yeah, it does. Lou, thank you for the call. Let's go to Silas, line 5, Staten Island. What's on your mind, Silas?
Yeah, I just wanted to comment on that, too, that I've had to pull the gun on people, intruding my property. And I'm glad I took 3 seconds to think before shooting. And I could advise anybody else if you're in that situation, you tell the person, get out from under that bed, get the hell out of this house, or I'll kill you. Not shoot them. Let them get out of there, because now the kids don't have a mother. She's,
okay, but Silas,
like you said, she's
Silas,
toast.
Silas,
And I know
we
where
don't know
that
the
anger can
facts.
get you.
Silas, we don't know the facts. Let me just let me put this in here. Let's say that this is the 5th or 6th time that mom has caught her daughter having sex. Let's say this boy, I don't know. Let's say he only had on his underwear. Does that change the situation for you?
No, he'd run down the street in his skivvies, because I'd aim in at him. I'd step back and let him get out of there. Now, if he lunged at me, then I got him shooting him in the face. Now I got a defense. Shooting him in the back of the head, I'm sorry, she's toast. Unless a hung jury wants to sympathize with her, she's toast. And as far as Mamdani, you notice when he had that woman talking about, eviction is violence, and he's just standing back there grinning with that big grin, because he knows he's getting over. And you're 100% right. He talks his talk. His base is going to always love him. And then he's going to say, oh, well, on the books, I can't do nothing to him. I would have arrested him, but I can't do it. I don't have the jurisdiction to arrest him. And they're going to say, see how great he is? He's going to keep grinning because he's getting over. That's what that big grin of his is. And,
like a Cheshire cat. Silas, thank you for the call. Folks, America, to reach me right now, 800-848-9222. We have a lot to get to, and while he doesn't have a daughter, I want to know what Matt Blaze would have done in that Tennessee situation.
The Dominic Carter Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. Now, from New York City to the world, it's Dominic Carter.
And we are back. We see your telephone calls, 800-848-9222. You folks want to talk about this situation in Tennessee. We're going to go to David in Alabama in just a minute or so. But Matt Blaze, help me out here.
Yes.
The situation in Tennessee, and we'll get to Mamdani in a moment. He wants to lock up Netanyahu, and imagine that, right? So someone posted the Secret Service. No, Netanyahu does not get Secret Service protection. He gets State Department protection. They're two different entities, but they're similar. They're similar, and you almost can't tell the difference. They carry the same earpieces, but they're a different agency. So we'll come back to all of that stuff. We see your calls. But the situation in Tennessee, do you have any sympathy for the mother that's in jail right now, charged with first-degree murder?
I mean, she killed a man. She killed, and then here's the other thing I was just thinking about, Dominic. She said if she caught a boy in the bedroom, she was going to kill him. What if, not that this really matters, but what if he was 15? What if he was a minor? What if he was 14? What if he was the same age as the girl? Now you just killed a child. But you have sympathy for her as a mother and the problems that you have to go through raising a daughter. But
I'm
you
just
can't
giving you the other
kill
side
somebody.
of this. Just giving you the other side of this, right? I'm just giving you the other. Thank God I never had to deal with this. Thank God I never came home and caught my daughter having sex. Don't smile when you have a daughter, Matt Blaze. These are things that you have to worry about. You have to worry about she becomes a little lady. Every woman in America knows what I mean by that. Then you start worrying about, oh my God, she can't get pregnant. Oh my God. No, like there's some parents that say, let them get birth control. I'm not one of them. To be blunt and direct with, keep those legs closed, okay? Well, see, but it's funny how much of a hypocrite we all are, because I also have a son, And when you have a son, you're like, my man, it's different when you have a son, when you have a son. Yeah. But when you have a daughter, it's like, oh my God, if she gets pregnant, it's like when Chris Rock told the joke about if your daughter's dancing on a pole, then you were a horrible father. It's sort of just like that. So maybe that's what the mother was going through here.
Probably, but you still can't shoot somebody. I'm not saying you throw them out of the house. Like, I understand you don't want somebody to mess with your daughter no matter who it is when you're a father and the girl's 13 or 14 or 16 or 17. You don't want anybody messing with your daughter. But you still can't kill someone. I mean, you just can't do that. We live in a civilized world. Now, obviously, it's different if he was breaking into the house or trying to rob the house or slapping the daughter or doing something violent. That's another story altogether. But it just seems that she found him. He was hiding under the bed. They were walking out. It sounds like they might have had words. Because it seems like
that's probably what happened. If he said something disrespectful.
Right. And then she shot him in the back of the head. Right. But you can't shoot the guy. And that's what it sounds like. It sounds like, and we don't know all the facts yet, but we know that he was outside. He was walking off the porch. She shot him in the back of the head. So she might have came home, caught him. He was under the bed. He got out from under the bed. He was saying stuff to the mother, or we don't know. I'm just making, it sounds like saying something and she didn't like it or whatever, and she shot him. She shouldn't have shot him. She shouldn't have shot the guy. You can't go around shooting people. I understand if it's your daughter, you don't want anybody mess with them, but you can't shoot people for that. You just can't.
You're right. You're right. And perhaps that's one of the reasons why I never pursued a gun permit. Because once I know from going to the firing ranges in Pennsylvania, when I fired a gun, I realized how much power was in my hand, and the recoil on a gun when you fire, I was like, oh no, this is too much power. I can't have this, because if you disrespect me, and I will find a legal ground to use it. Mm-hmm. He lunged at me. He choked me, and that's why I'm not stupid. I would know the legal ground to get around and a criminal charge.
There could be video footage. We don't know if the neighbors had cameras. Everybody has Ring cameras now. Could have caught it on camera somewhere.
Don't mention rings. Don't mention ring. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it, Matt Blaze. I haven't talked about it the whole show. I haven't talked about it. The racist black bear that was at my house early this evening before work. I haven't talked about that racist. I need Black Lives Matter, because the black bear, I don't know what you're laughing at, Matt Blaze. Don't go looking for your phone now. The black bear, even my wife, when she came back there, she says, Dominic, why does the black bear always come to the black family's house? He don't mess with nobody else's house. The bear's not racist. Black Lives Matter. That's what that nonsense of Black Lives Matter sounds to me. But yeah, so notice I didn't mention, you're the one that went there. You're the one that mentioned ring. I wasn't going to say anything about the bear. We have Juliana in Australia talking about the bear and everything else. I wasn't going to do it. You did it, Matt Blaze. You did it. You.
Is Dominic Carter home?
and my cat was outside. Thank God he was inside the fenced area.
Beyonce would have been barefoot.
Come right over it,
Beyonce would have been barefoot.
And I caught him on Ring camera, man.
So bear. You saw the bear on your Ring camera?
Yes, while I was outside.
Oh, and you were outside?
Yes, he was only a few feet away from me. Yes. Hey,
boo-boo, let's go to Dominic Carter's house.
We were out there. See, you got me started. So I kind of screwed up diet wise tonight.
Oh, did you?
I had a taste for Chicago hot dogs, right? And I like, in the summertime, we're going to get to your phone calls. In the summertime, I like to cook outside on the griddle. It's like you feel like you're in a cafe or a diner, but it's yours, And so I'm looking for the recipes, and they give you everything but the recipe. And so I'm thinking about Liz in Florida, and I'm like, I shouldn't have a Chicago hot dog, but I had a taste for a Chicago hot dog. So I had to get the relish. We had the relish. I had the mustard. We had the onions. I had to chop up the onions. We had the tomatoes, but I couldn't open the jar of dill pickles. So that was the only thing I was missing. But everything else, I had my Chicago hot dog. I know I shouldn't have had it, but it is what it is.
Was it good? Was it good? Was
Delicious.
it good?
Delicious.
There you go.
Delicious.
There you go, Dominic.
Let's go back to the telephone calls. David in Alabama, line 1. David, what's on your mind?
Oh, I was just going to talk about that shooting, Dominic. I think you're a great radio host, and I think Matt Blaze is 100% on his opinion about this shooting. I'm an old Alabama boy. I'm from Huntsville, Alabama, and I grew up kind of in a gangster, rough neighborhood, and I wound up being a prison ward, and I wound up law enforcement and learned a little bit about the law.
I'm listening to you, David. So Huntsville, Alabama, correct? David?
And I'm here. Are you here?
Okay. So you said, I heard Huntsville, Alabama. I was in Huntsville maybe a year ago at the space camp with my grandson. And I'm going to be honest with you, David. I'm sure you have a lot of this going on in Alabama with these guys creeping around these young girls.
Well, yeah, I can tell you a story, a quick one. My daughter, I've got a daughter. And I came home one time, and there was a boy in the house, and I knew what they were doing. And
how old was your daughter at the time, and how old was the boy? How old do you think the boy was?
At that time, she was 14, and the boy was probably 17. So, teenagers. But I just kicked his ass and sent him on his way. Of course, I carry guns everywhere I go because, like I said, I was a prison warden. And, this she's got some issues somewhere, probably beyond that, probably emotional, but still the same. She shouldn't have shot him like that. She shouldn't have killed him. And shooting him in the back of the head, that says something, too.
Right. That says all you need to know in the court of law. David in Alabama, thank you for the call. Let's go to California. Joel on line 2. Joel, good morning. What's on your mind?
Good morning. Good morning, Mr. Dominic. I agree with you 100%, sir. I believe that if Mamdani tries to arrest Bibi, it is unlike Donkey Kong between him and Donald Trump. But my point is that I think Mamdani fears the Mossad more than he fears Trump, because I guarantee you, if Bibi ever got arrested in New York, the Mossad would handle business.
Well, I just don't see any scenario where it's a win for Mamdani. I don't even know why he's still talking about this. It just defies logic. Do you think it makes sense, Joel?
It doesn't make any sense. Like you said, sir, earlier, he's talk, no action. He's not going to do anything. He's just trying to score brownie points. That's all he's trying to do. But at the end, like you said, sir, he's not going to do anything. He's not going to do anything about it.
The city law department's going to give him an out. They're going to say, Mr. Mayor, you can't arrest the head of a country because you feel like it, because you want to honor a legal system that the U.S. government does not. The whole thing is ridiculous, Joel. Can you believe this is happening?
Okay. Yes, sir. I agree. And one more. Okay. And one more point, sir. As far as this, as far as the 13-year-old girl, as far as the 13-year-old girl is concerned, I mean, I don't know what the outcome's going to be. All I know, this is going to be the trial of the year.
Right. Well, we'll see, Joel. Thank you for the great call. Let's go to Lou, Long Island, line 4. Lou, what's on your mind?
Hey, Dominic. I was calling up about the woman in Tennessee.
Okay.
Yeah, you guys seem to be missing the obvious. This guy's a burglar, right? He's a burglar.
Okay. Wait. Lou. You call up and you're telling us what we're missing, and you don't know what you're talking about. Did that ever occur to you?
Yeah, okay. What
okay,
do you mean?
So you call up and you say we don't know what we're talking about when we've pointed out throughout the entire night that the 13-year-old girl, according to the story, invited the man into the house. So maybe you weren't listening, but you shouldn't make assumptions when you don't know what you're talking about.
But Dominic, she's 13 years old. She's a minor. She don't have the right to invite a stranger into.
Yes, she can. It's still statutory rape, but she can invite him into the house. Thank you for the call, Lou. You lost me by lashing out at us to begin with when you darn sure don't know what the hell you're talking about. Robert in Philadelphia, line 2. Robert, what's on your mind?
Yes. Hello?
Yes, go right ahead.
This is Robert from Philadelphia.
I know, Robert. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, Dominic. It was in Tennessee. I think that him being found on the lawn with a gunshot wound to his head after what she had said prior is very damning. But the fact that he made it out to the lawn without getting shot tells me that she was probably chasing him out while yelling at him. And I suspect that once he got out on the lawn, figuring he was fairly safe, I guess, he said
turned
something
around and
back
said
and
something.
Triggered her off. And that triggered her off, but I don't think.
Hey, Robert, you have a daughter. She's in the military still, correct?
I have two daughters. Yes,
you have two. So,
yes,
how would you handle a situation like this?
Well, it's a different situation, obviously, because I never had to really worry about my 13-year-olds bringing home a 20-year-old. So I would assume that if there was a 20-year-old that they knew and they had brought into the house.
But wait, Robert, why do you say you didn't have to worry about that? Every father has to worry about that.
Well, because if somebody came into my house, they were the ones that had something to worry about, if you know what I mean. But number two, they were sensible. They weren't the type to be out on the media looking for grown men. They were busy with school, I guess, and they had their bad moments, but like any kid does. But if I found, like, if he was a 20-year-old that had gotten into my house against her will, he doesn't make it out of that room. If it's a 20-year-old that got in there through invitation, he gets escorted very rudely out the door, and me and her are going to have a long ordeal to go through to figure out what we're going to do about this, because that can't happen anymore. But it's just a lot of parents can't imagine that. Could you honestly imagine that happening with your daughter, her 13 years old, bringing home a 20-year-old?
I firmly believe that anything can happen. Anything can happen.
Yeah, but
now how I would deal with it, Robert, I have no idea.
With you as a parent, Dominic? With you as her parent? With you and your wife as her parents, you could see that something like that happening?
I think it can happen to any parent. I
hear what you're saying.
I firmly believe, Robert, especially the good girls and the good boys, you got to keep an eye on them as well. So I firmly believe. Go ahead.
I'm not talking about keeping an eye on them and protecting them, but I mean having them invite a 20-year-old over to your house when you're at work. I mean, that's,
remember, these are the days. Okay, and I'm late for a break. Hey, Robert, just hold on for a second. I got another quick segment to do, and then I'm coming right back. We are going to be right back.
The Dominic Carter Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. Now, from New York City to the world, it's Dominic Carter.
So we are back, and Robert, I got to make this quick because I have to get to other callers, and we're running out of time. But, there was one time where my daughter snuck a guy into the house. There was another time in high school up in Rockland County, one of the high schools that's still there now, Albertus Magnus. I got a phone call that at a school dance from the school officials that my daughter was, quote, booty dancing with one of the boys. Now, she went on, she's now a spokeswoman for an Ivy League school, but, those were two incidents that I never thought would happen, and they did. So things happen,
I definitely hear you on that, but see, the only reason it was hard for me to manage imagines that. We had like 5 kids. Me and my wife worked separate shifts. Somebody was always home. And I had an ace in the hole that woman in Tennessee didn't have, and that's an older son. And if you think a 20-year-old was going to get within a football field of his 13-year-old sister, that wasn't happening. So I kind of had it occurred to me. It occurred to me while I was on hold that, he was a big ace there too. So I know it's not an easy situation, but I'd like to know a little more before I, decide what the final verdict should be and all. But it's always great.
Fair enough,
Dominic.
Fair enough, Robert. Always great to chat with you, Eddie in Babylon, line 1. What's on your mind, Eddie?
Great, Dominic. First of all, you're Matt Blaze. When you get into stories, you put a hot dog brainworm in I have to have a hot dog, Conan a hot dog now, but. As per the Bears, my family has a cabin up in this little place called Phoenicia. Girlfriend and I go up there. The screen's ripped, and I'm looking for a stick or something that fell from the tree. Nothing. So we get in and open up a bottle of wine, bottle of Merlot. I'm sitting on the porch, and she comes out with 2 nice wine glasses in her hand, and she picks her foot up, and she goes, "But." I'm looking at it, I go, I say, it's Merlot. And I look at her foot, and she's pointing with her big toe. She had sandals on toward the door. There's a black bear there looking in the door, and I go, Hey, boo-boo.
They're pretty smart.
Ran away.
They're pretty smart, Eddie. I'm short on time. They're very smart. This bear was just walking through, and he was like, "Leave me." And I swear, I don't know. One day, Eddie, I got to move on, but thank you for the call. One day, the small ones, I want to go pet them. I really do, but I know that's suicide. It's suicide. Matt Blaze, don't look up now and get all excited. Don't look up and get all excited.
Hey, boo-boo, Dominic's got Chicago hot dogs. Let's go have a hot dog at Dominic Carter's house.
I want you to tell me why the black bears come to the black family. I got a racist bear outside. Let's go to Ed in Evansville, Indiana. Ed, what's on your mind?
Hey, Dominic, I'm pro-gun. Excuse me. People have to be responsible with the guns, though, and they're not. And this is why we hear the kids shooting and stuff. And
do you have a daughter? Wait, Ed, do you have a daughter? Ed, do you have a daughter?
Yeah, she's 20.
Okay. Did you go through any experiences like this?
No, she's kind of a late bloomer, so I don't have to kind of worry. She's more into education because we're primarily from the East Coast, and education before procreation, and she's sensible. And down here, they all have guns, so nobody messes with anybody else. Just
like Tennessee, they all have guns in Tennessee.
Yeah, but Chicago is very strict gun laws. Illinois, I'm sorry. I did that with the call screener, too. But also,
I'm out of time, Ed. I'm sorry. Folks, I'm sorry I have to cut you off. I will be back at 3 p.m. Eastern. Do me a favor, please. Have a great day.
Thanks for listening to The Dominic Carter Show. You can hear The Dominic Carter Show weekdays at 3 p.m. and Monday through Thursday at midnight and Sunday starting at 11 p.m. on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?